Hello, my name is Matthew, and last night I finished reading The Awakening by Kate Chopin. I'll show you my cover. It's a short novel, and I loved it. I thought it was beautiful and tragic and emotional. It's the story of Edna. It's a married woman, mother, set at the end of the 19th century in America, in New Orleans. And at the beginning, we don't even know who the main character is. It's this broad picture, like a painting, and we just get this scene of an outing of a family and their friends, and we're just following all of these characters and seeing their relationships and how they interact and certain associations and character traits and tics and preferences and things like that. And what I was immediately struck by was the beauty of the language. It's lyrical and provocative and exacting. It has this wonderful, graceful confidence in the choices of words, and the way things are described feels so emotionally charged and rich at the beginning. And the story has a way of tightening itself and becoming more and more constrained and focused as we start to learn which relationships and members of the family and friends are important. And the story sort of sets off when Edna, who's married, has this emotional connection. She felt close to a young man named Robert while they were out one day. And I guess the next day, this man Robert at the table just announces that he's going off to Mexico on a business trip. And it sort of sends a shock wave through all of the participants. Everybody in the room is really surprised by this, Edna especially. And when this man leaves, Edna almost has a transformation. Something that she didn't know about was now missing in her heart, and she no longer feels like she wants to go through the motions of her life, her responsibilities and obligations that up until this point it seems as if she was comfortable doing, and instead starts having little challenges, big challenges, not doing what's expected of her, talking back in a fairly confident, open, direct way, which surprises her husband and other family members. And the great thing about the story is that we start liking Edna. At the very beginning, we like her. I liked her. And everything that she does and the way that she feels, her rationale and sensibilities are not exactly right. They're not. It's hard to just agree with what she thinks and what she wants to do, but we can sympathize with her. We can be on her side and want the best for her. It's such a, not a trick, but such a great way of showing a character. We want her to be happy. I want her to be happy. And as the story goes along, she makes more and more questionable decisions, and there's sort of twists. People pop back up into the story and things like that. Ultimately, it has a tragic ending. But as I was reading it, I couldn't help but start noticing the similarities between this story and Madame Bovary by Flaubert. And it's not just the story itself, which is very similar, or the structure The way that the plot is structured has some similarities. Or the names of the heroines. In Madame Bovary, we have Emma. In The Awakening, we have Edna. So some things seem pretty on the nose and obvious, but it's not just that. It really is the beauty of the language, the emotional charge and richness, the way that it's so evocative and layered. This thing, I believe, is 150 pages, something like that, and it doesn't feel like 150 pages. It feels like maybe 300 pages, in the best way possible. Just luxurious, thoughtful, highly developed, skilled, constructed prose. At the beginning, I felt that maybe it was going to be stuffy. It had a pointiness to it, the way that it was written. Everything was so pronounced and particular. As it goes along and we feel for Edna and some of the other characters, we just get pulled into this world where that exactitude starts to pay off, and you can tell that there's a lot being said simultaneously. There's intellectual developments and emotional developments and societal issues that are being explained and told to us in a way that we're whatever we're reading, we're always missing some part. So it's the kind of book that is going to reward with a rereading. I can already tell it's so beautifully told, and it's a sad story, but it has high moments and these emotional descriptions that are beautiful and ponderous and complicated. These are complicated emotions that we can grapple with together with these characters, with Edna. It's beautiful. I don't know if this is the best example, but Robert just up and left, and Edna is immediately dealing with basically signs of grief. She's grieving and not exactly knowing quite yet. But Robert's the person that left. Robert's going had some way taken the brightness, the color, the meaning out of everything. The conditions of her life were in no way changed, but her whole existence was dulled, like a faded garment which seems to be no longer worth wearing. Beautiful and tragic and touching and lyrical, and has a slight sense of whimsy, and it's specific, that exactitude. And not that I always like to compare things one to one. A lot of this has a lot of similarities to Flaubert, but Madame Bovary is one of my favorite novels, and Gustave Flaubert is one of my favorite writers. So you could imagine how much delight this story brought me. This book actually has a few short stories at the end, and I am deeply interested in reading more by Kate Chopin. And I'll end by saying that this was a recommendation from one of you. So thank you, and I only have a limited amount of reading time, but I always want to, I would like to always make sure that I express that I'm open to recommendations, and I'm thankful for them. So this was a wonderful, delightful, emotional reading experience that one of you gave me, and I'm thankful for that. So thank you, and if you'd like to leave a comment, please do, and thank you for watching.